violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Police say a person was found shot inside a vehicle in northeast Columbus.
According to Columbus police, a shooting was reported just after noon Friday in the area of McCutcheon Road and Merwin Hill Drive.
Wow. So Columbus, Ohio, sorry, is on fire. And it's been on fire for a pretty long time. All right. So much so that there is a group in the community, not the community, obviously, because we know the community doesn't care about these issues. But there's a group in the community that has gotten together and, mustered up enough support to make the mayor say that gun violence is a health epidemic in Columbus, Ohio. But we all know that it's not gun violence, okay? It's these super gremlins on demon time.
Police confirmed 18-year-old Chaz Fleming was pronounced dead and another self-transported to Grant Medical Center in stable condition. According to police, other people were inside of the car but were not injured. This incident is still under investigation.
And new tonight, police have a suspect in custody after a deadly shooting on McCutcheon Road. We're told one person died after that shooting. Police have not released the identity of the suspect or the victim. We'll bring you that information as soon as we learn more.
To the far right of the screen, you can see 9-year-old Demetrius in the car moving around just before the shooting.
Obviously, you can see there are two.
Look at these sneaky super gremlins, and it's hard to see. But they're creeping up, and this one, man, sickening. Sickening, because this is a triple homicide, and they pull up and they do damage. The 9-year-old is right here, and his family members are close nearby.
Two suspects.
Two suspects fired off dozens of rounds.
Wow. They aired out on a 9-year-old boy. They aired out on a 9-year-old boy. This is Columbus, Ohio, y'all. Look at them. They just keep on shooting.
Suspects.
Two suspects fired off dozens of rounds, killing Demetrius, his 6-year-old sister London, and their mother's boyfriend.
Wow. Are you serious right now? I'm at a loss. Y'all saw the video. Y'all saw how they kept shooting. They saw those children in that car. Oh, yeah, they did. You bet your ass they saw them. And we're not hearing anything about it. Haven't heard anybody say a word. This is past demon time, y'all. It really is.
6-year-old sister London and their mother's boyfriend, 22-year-old Charles Wade.
This is absolutely one of the most cowardly homicides I think I've dealt with. Because they waited until they were at the advantage. They waited until all three people were inside the car, and then they snuck up and emptied 2 full magazines.
Columbus Police homicide did.
Wow. 2 full magazines, guys. I don't know what to say. What do you, I mean, these guys who did this, we gotta have some type of public corporal punishment. I mean, it makes no sense. And these are the types of super gremlins that sisters have been vouching for and working to change the criminal justice system for, and making it easier for these super gremlins to get out of facing accountability. But hey, as long as the street code is in effect, nobody's saying anything. These guys are going to be able to walk. Nobody's going to tell on them. Even if they went around the hood and told everybody that they did it. 'Cause they probably did. They probably did a live stream right after it. Knowing these super gremlins. It's crazy.
2 full magazines.
Columbus Police Homicide Detective Terry Kelly is frustrated. More people haven't come forward with firsthand information.
You think? I mean, this is the community. We glorify this type of stuff. Really, I've done a lot of stories in the months that I've been doing this, going on a year. And this is one of the most despicable displays of super gremlins on Demon Time.
It's pissed me off. I'm mad as hell about this. I'm mad because I don't have it solved yet. I'm mad because people aren't calling in and saying this was who did it.
Yep.
He released the video today with the family's blessing and hopes it will compel someone to give him the information he needs to make an arrest in the case.
There's no doubt in my mind that there's plenty of other people out there that know what happened that night and know who is responsible, and those are the...
And you don't hear any NFL players saying, this could be me. This could have been me. Where y'all at on this one? Where?
people that I want to talk to.
Well, before police arrived, police received multiple calls about the man firing at oncoming traffic. Caught in that crossfire were several students on their way to the state wrestling tournament right here in Columbus. 10 TV's Olivia Eugenio spoke with one family who says they're fortunate they weren't hurt. She begins our team coverage tonight.
This was the town of Lucas Friday morning as Zane Finley left to go to States.
Graduating class of seniors is maybe 45 kids.
A one-stoplight town with just over 500 people. This was the first time a wrestler has competed at the state level.
Things like that don't happen in Lucas.
The Finley family following another group of wrestlers heading to the tournament from Madison local schools.
We noticed traffic starting to slow in front of us, and we noticed a man bolting across the middle of the highway. At that point, everybody was starting to come to a standstill. The Madison bus abruptly turned left, and we heard gunshots. The next thing you know, the shooter standing right in front of our vehicle.
These super gremlins are now going on into the street and shooting oncoming traffic.
Ed Finley says he told his family to duck.
It looks like maybe one might have ricocheted off the roof, but I don't know for sure if that was a gunshot, but he definitely pointed his gun at us and let the bullets fly.
No one from either school was injured.
It was about terrible.
You seen him. You saw the super gremlin. Look! There's a super gremlin. Sagging with a hoodie. Bro, if you're going to do something like this, at least pull up your pants and wear a belt. You think you're going to outrun the police? Sagging your pants in a hoodie and a Pooh Shiesty mask?
No one from either school was injured.
It was about terrible, terrifying. You don't get shot at every day, you know, so yeah, it was kind of a shock.
A shock when you come from a...
Dang, and he started shooting at 12. And I have no doubt this is a super gremlin. Just the way he moved and like the way he shot the gun and like, yeah, I mean, like, that's a move. That's a move for real. Look, the stance. Come on. He started shooting at the police, bruh.
When you come from a one stoplight town to this.
He was maybe 30 feet in front of us.
And look, he's still running. They didn't even air him out. They didn't even air him out. And he started shooting at the police.
Right behind the semi. And he just started unloading his gun.
Olivia Eugenio, 10 TV News.
We reached out to Lucas Local Schools and haven't heard back. We did hear from Madison Local Schools, the superintendent saying, quote, "I want to applaud our coaches for handling of this incident, and we are very thankful for the safe arrival of our coaches and student athletes."
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
We're declaring gun violence a public health crisis.
Mayor Ginther and the city of Columbus are tired of waiting for action. They're looking to tackle gun violence themselves now, a push for reform from the State House and Congress. After the city sees a record 204 homicides in the past year, the mayor announces the formation of the Columbus Alliance Against Illegal Guns, and they're hoping it'll make a major impact.
The Columbus Alliance of Illegal Guns. No, they need to call it the Columbus Alliance Against Super Gremlins on Demon Time.
Let's send things out to Kate Seaver, live in downtown Columbus with more on the message they're sending. Kate?
Well, Stacia, Bob, you heard it right there. Mayor Ginther declaring gun violence a public health crisis in the city. He says Columbus Health Commissioner Dr. Roberts will be working with departments citywide to tackle this issue from a public safety, public health, of course, and a community perspective.
What's What is more lethal, these super gremlins or the CV? That's not a serious question.
Now, as Bob just mentioned, in 2021, it was a record year for gun violence and for homicides. Ginther says of the 204 homicides in 2021, over 90% involved the use of a firearm.
And guys, I'm going to break down this press conference that he did. A lot of double speak. A lot of talking around the issue, but we're going to get into it.
The Alliance Against Illegal Guns is a coalition made up of community leaders, faith leaders, medical professionals, and Columbus.
Notice how all the gliders are the only ones taking it seriously. We got a couple brothers in here, but mainly gliders. You're not going to get any change. I mean, I don't see any sisters.
Residents, we heard from some of those people today, and although Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant was in the crowd, we did not hear from the Columbus Police Department during today's news conference. But we asked Mayor Ginther about CPD's role in this ongoing effort to take guns off the streets.
She's going to have a critically important part. They were part of the group violence intervention training that I mentioned took place here last week, and she and her team are going to be spearheading that effort. Obviously, if the federal government does grow us and add us to that task force, Chief Bryant will be into that effort. Obviously, if the federal government does grow us and add us to that task force, Chief Bryant will be intimately involved in that.
Now, the task force the mayor is talking about is the National Firearms Trafficking Strike Force. Ginther is requesting that Columbus join other cities like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. That task force works to disrupt illegal firearm trafficking schemes from across state boundaries. Now, this afternoon,
Wow. That's y'all's play on it. Get the guns off the street. No. Get the super gremlins off the street.
Also asked the mayor about the ongoing violence, thefts, robberies, all of those crimes that we have continued to hear weekly on Ohio State's campus.
What about triple homicides of 2 children? It's crazy.
At 10 and 11, I will tell you his answer and possible solutions. But for now, live on your side in downtown Columbus, I'm Kate Seifert, ABC 6 News.
We have breaking news at 5. The Columbus police officer who shot and killed 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant faced a grand jury today. 10 TV's Lacey Crisp has the decision live from the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas. Good evening, Lacey.
Well, Brittany, the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office confirms for me tonight that the grand jury has issued a no bill or no charges against Columbus police officer Nicholas Reardon. Now, that fatal shooting happened last year on April 20th. You may remember the officers were called on a report of a stabbing in the area. Body camera video showed 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant.
So if you guys remember the Ma'Khia Bryant situation, 16-year-old girl got to fighting, foster child, all this kind of stuff. It was a lot of drama behind it. We're not going to get into those specifics, but she is on video seen about to slice a woman's neck open. Okay. And then she was shot, and the community is in uproar about it. LeBron James threatens the police officer involved, but this is a justified shooting. Okay. She was about to stab up this other girl. And people don't get this. I don't know why. Like I said, the community is intellectually dishonest. We can't look objectively at truth. This is an issue. And it's really a feminine issue that has pretty much overtaken the community, because a lot of these young men and even old dudes, old OGs, were raised by single moms, so they still view things through a feminine lens, and they can't be objective with anything, and that's most of the black community. But she was about to stab this girl, another black girl. The police officer shot her. This should be, a non-issue, a non-story, but we're in uproar. People are like, use a taser, bro. Tasers don't work. They don't work. Look at Rashard Brooks. Okay? And it's a crazy situation. And obviously nobody's like, oh, she should be killed. But you reap what you sow. If you out here fighting and you're stabbing people, there's a chance that you could die. You use a lethal weapon, there could be a lethal weapon used on you.
Lunging at 2 women with a knife. That's when CPD officer Reardon shot Bryant 4 times. Now, it happened on Legion Lane on the city's southeast side. Bryant was staying there with a foster family at the time. Reardon was hired by Columbus Police in 2019. Now, BCI investigated this shooting, and a special prosecutor presented the case to a Franklin County grand jury.
Details about another deadly encounter with police. This time it's in Columbus, Ohio, where an officer killed a 16-year-old girl. Now, police body cam video released hours after the shooting shows that Ma'Khia Bryant was holding a knife. Hundreds of people marched to the Ohio State House in Columbus yesterday to protest. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, has a crucial 11 seconds of video before the shooting. You have to know before you watch it, it's graphic. It's very disturbing to see.
Notice how they're out here protesting for this girl who was about to stab another black girl. But we haven't heard any protests about this triple homicide where these 2 kids were killed brutally. They unloaded 2 magazines. It's insane.
Hey. What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey, get down, get down, get down, get down.
We'll play it for you again. This body camera video shows Officer Nicholas Reardon arriving at the scene. He asks what's going on, and then...
Hold on. Look, and she was about to stomp on the puppy. Nobody even noticed this. The puppy was in between. The puppy was in between Ma'Khia and the other girl she was about to stab. Oh, and this is going to be a fatal stabbing, okay? She's not going to stop. That ain't self-defense. That's not a fair fight. And you see the father, he stomped on another black girl. Stomped her out. Look at the puppy.
Reardon fired 4 shots at Ma'Khia Bryant, who police say was armed with a knife and was about to stab that girl in the pink.
I mean, super gremlins just have no self-control. If you see an officer, everybody's supposed to, stop. No self-control.
She had a knife. She just went at her.
Here's the 911 call that led police to the scene.
We got these grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stab us.
A lot of people have said, couldn't he have just shot her in the leg so she dropped?
We don't train to shoot the leg because that's a small target, rounds miss, and then they continue on, and there are people behind that could be in danger.
Paula Bryant is Michaela's mother.
This never should have happened. She's a loving girl.
You know, within 6...
She's a loving girl. She was literally about to stab somebody.
6 hours of the shooting, police released this video, which is unusually fast. This rapid response comes after the death of Andre Hill. He was an unarmed black man who was shot and killed by Officer Adam Coy 4 months ago. Coy did not turn on his body camera until after he shot Hill, and he never rendered aid to him. He was fired, charged with murder, and pleaded not guilty. Now compare that to this shooting, where 3 responding officers had their body cameras on when they arrived, and they started performing CPR almost right away.
These cameras and the footage increase accountability on both sides of the camera.
That's the Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther. He campaigned on a promise to implement body cameras, and the department started doing it back in 2016.
And I have no problem with the body cameras. I mean, it actually shows you the reality of these situations. And this young lady, she was out of control. She was out of control, okay? And you can say, oh, she was going through something. Look, it doesn't matter. You get yourself involved in something violent, there's always a threat of death, straight up.
This week, for this shooting, he pushed for the footage to be released.
Were you worried that it might be too risky to do that, jeopardize the investigation?
Well, I trust the public and I trust this community, and I think what's most important is to be transparent as possible, particularly when you're dealing with a very high-profile shooting involving a 16-year-old child.
The officer who fired those fatal shots is on paid administrative leave this morning. That's pretty customary after an officer-involved shooting. And Anthony, you know, here in Columbus, it's now an order for police officers to turn on their body cameras for every call. Doesn't matter if you're going out on an emergency call, non-emergency, you have to have it on.
Yeah, and Columbus clearly has responded with transparency, David. Thank you.
The jury decided to return a no bill, which means that they did not proceed with filing criminal charges against Officer Reardon and found no criminal act.
A grand jury is not going to file charges against Columbus police officer Nicholas Reardon for the death of Ma'Khia Bryant. She was shot and killed outside her foster home 11 months ago. Kate Seifert on your side tonight. Kate, a lot of reaction expected from this decision.
Yeah, there already is some reaction coming in tonight. Stacia, we're hearing from an attorney for Ma'Khia Bryant's family. We also spoke to FOP President Jeff Simpson, who shares with us Officer Nicholas Reardon's reaction to today's news.
He is relieved. He is happy. His family is happy. There's still a sad reality.
As they should. I mean, dude, this guy does not deserve to go to jail for doing his damn job. And the community is really going to be, they're really in an uproar on social media. And I'm just like, bro, are y'all blind? She was literally about to stab another black woman. Y'all talk about protect black women. No. Who do y'all think these women need protection from? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
For him, that he was put in a very unfortunate situation that unfortunately he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life.
It was April of last year when Ma'Khia Bryant was shot and killed by a...
Look at the puppy. The puppy is fearing for its life right now.
Columbus police officer. According to the coroner report, Officer Nicholas Reardon shot Bryant 4 times as he came upon a fight at a house on the southeast side.
That same night, police released this body camera video showing Bryant holding a knife and going after another young woman when Officer Reardon arrived. On Friday, a grand jury deciding to not file criminal charges against Reardon.
That is pleasing to hear. It's always sad when there's a loss of life. However, that day, the actions of the people at scene caused him to take action that saved lives, and he was trained very well, and he did his job, and it's a good outcome.
Columbus police releasing this statement, thanking the investigators of Ohio BCI. They say the next step will be an administrative investigation to determine whether the officer's actions were within division policy.
What is going on?
Bryant.
That's a good question, sister. That's a good question. What is going on? Because the videos that I did before this one are more of a testament to what is actually going on. This isolated incident, I mean, and even the Ma'Khia Bryant situation, it was a justified shooting. What do we have to talk about? I mean, this is why I say, oh, this is just clout chasing, or just the delusion of, because it's not just sisters, because you got brothers out here, you know, on this same stuff. These beta male conformists, it's crazy.
What is going on?
Bryant's death sparking an eruption of protests across Columbus. The shooting taking place the same day former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted of murder in the death of George Floyd.
Kill a 15-year-old kid.
We are also hearing from an attorney for the Bryant family. Michelle Martin says, quote, Ma'Khia Bryant's family is disappointed that a Franklin County grand jury declined to indict the officer who shot and killed her last year. Ma'Khia's family has long wondered why the officer opted for lethal force, even though there should have been other non-deadly options available.
What, a taser on that big old girl? I mean, she's 16, but she weighed more than me, and I weigh 205 pounds. And you not finna tase me. So,
to deal with this situation. Their attorney also pointing towards issues that started long before Ma'Khia's death, calling for changes to be made to Ohio's foster care system to ensure this doesn't happen to another child. Adding, quote, Ohio's foster care system is failing our children and we cannot stand by and allow this to continue.
Blame it on the foster care system. Anybody but the super gremlin on Demon Time.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost has also given our team the complete investigative files from this case. We put them up on our app so you can take a look at them for yourself. Just look for this story. On your side, I'm Kate Seifert, Fox 28 News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! That's what